Here's another exclusive clip from Wrestling Reality with Justin LaBar, brought to you by Gladiators of the Cage.
Has there been anybody that's fallen further since 2011 in WWE than The Miz? Granted, he fell into the legs and married Maurice, which that's a great accomplishment. But in terms of the booking and position on the roster, I mean, I know he's like their ambassador. He's great to do media. He's doing movies, blah, 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 blah. But in terms of his position on the roster, boy, 1 minute you walk out of Mania after doing a match and segment with Cena and The Rock, and you walk out holding the title, which nobody predicted, and then now you're just walking around dressed like a Jedi in irrelevant segments. I don't know. I've also declared, please, and I'm gonna make sure I inform her of this, of my request. I don't think Brie Bella should be allowed to scream Brie mode unless her blood alcohol level is at least 0.08 or higher. The whole premise of Brie mode is getting crazy, getting in Brie mode. I don't need to see you scream Brie mode and then go give somebody a Bronco Buster. All right? Brie, I love you. You know that. But, no. Change the character up a little bit. Maybe walk to the ring with some fireball or something. I don't know. But, you know, I don't want to hear about Brie mode unless you're legit in Brie mode. Cesaro signs. Well, it felt like WWE is once again maybe reviving the Cesaro push in motion. It's a teeter-totter kind of system. 1 week he's on, 1 week he's not. Look, the signs are fun. I had this conversation on Twitter with people. The Cesaro signs are great. It's a great movement, and Cesaro is a really great talent. Not the greatest talker, but I think if we just let him spread his wings, I think we can make it work. Or maybe give him a mouthpiece. I don't know. But Cesaro is a great talent. No doubt about it. He's being underused. Maybe the most underused talent they have. But I got to tell you, and I know you guys don't want to hear this, some of you, going on your computer and creating and copy and pasting and printing out 300 Cesaro section signs is not going to get WWE's attention. Buy his merch. That will get WWE's attention. That's what makes decision makers go, oh, okay. Now, I'm not saying it's a guarantee. I'm not saying if you go out and buy all of his stuff, he's immediately going to be a main event in WrestleMania. Hell, Zack Ryder did pretty well in merch for a while, and that was a short-lived magic ride. But still, you're going to have a lot better chance of making a push to the decision makers if you buy his merch. Creating signs that say Cesaro section, it's just not going to do the same as buying the merch. So just keep that in mind. Going back to the whole needing a star for Mexico and for the Latin American audience, I really like seeing Kalisto. The Lucha Dragons thing is over. It's a good tag team to have, but this Kalisto, I mean, he worked on the Indies. He worked for IWC for us here in Pittsburgh. Did a couple shows. The kid's got it. He's got that Rey Mysterio build. Maybe not as Rey bulked up a lot when he got to WWE, but he's still got that small, quick, agile build. He can do so much in the ring. He's a great communicator. He's bilingual. He can speak very good English and very good Spanish, so he can communicate in all no matter what you need him to do. He's a guy who I wouldn't put past maybe trying to build something around him. And I don't know if you have to keep the mask on him or if you can take the mask off. Obviously, Rey Mysterio is one of those few that were very, very good at being a masked wrestler who could still really sell and tell the story. Probably end up having some masked wrestlers, especially in the luchador community, is for WWE is such a television, such a camera spectacle. You need to be able to see faces and facial expressions. Rey was really good at body language and other things to counteract for not being able to see much of his face. I don't know with Kalisto if he can do that or if you need to take the mask off of him, but or if he even will wrestle without the mask. I'm not sure what his personal preference to all that is, but just a small little side note there. I think that he's somebody that they should take a look at. And Lucha Dragons is great, but how long can you do that forever? Last night was a good night for the Divas, and we do have phone calls. We'll get to the calls here in a second. Last night was a good night for the Divas. Finally, maybe somebody finally read my column that I had for the Pittsburgh Trib last Friday. Just my annoyance with all the factions. No faction nonsense really last night. Just a fatal four. I want a challenge for the title, as it should be. Good match. Paige wins. Paige versus Charlotte. Everybody's all on board for that. So that last night was a good step in the right direction. Nikki Bella is apparently injured and going to take some time off. Obviously, get better Nikki, but maybe that's the best thing to help further break all these factions. Even though I said in my column the Team Bella is actually the only faction I'd be fine with keeping, and then let everybody else should just be on their own. But it looks like Team Bella is going to at least be split up for some time because Nikki's taking some time off, and apparently Foxy's got a new haircut, so I don't know what she's doing. Bray Wyatt showed he has powers, special powers last night, Juice. Funny, I just thought he was pointing and cueing the pyrotechnic guy, but It actually was. It was actually okay. I'm fine with that. They did right by not. We didn't see any tease of Kane and Taker. It was just the Wyatt family just touting and dominating their powers and their strength and blah blah blah. Sit on that for another week. Next week though, business has to start picking up. Next week, what do we have? 2 Raws left and then Survivor Series, I think it is.
Yep.
So next week has to be the start of something. It needs to be this, whether even if it's just something as simple as the Wyatts cutting a promo and gongs start and fire starts and we start feeling the presence of Taker and Kane returning, and maybe who their partners are. Maybe the best thing to do for Survivor Series is to keep that in the dark and let whoever teams with them be surprised.
It's got to be a 4-on-4, right? It can't be Brothers of Destruction versus just 2 of them.
I agree.
They're not gonna.
Yeah, I agree. Unless they really feel like they don't have 2 other partners that they can realistically put with them, and they do Brothers of Destruction versus Bray and one of the other ones, but that'd be a miss, I think.
Yeah, it makes so much sense to have the surprise speculation. You've got 4 strong Wyatt members. Why not just go for it?
Yeah, I agree. Curtis Axel, he's not thrilled. He's putting out some. He speaks out. I guess what do you have to lose? Here's my deal with Curtis Axel. He's mad that he's saying a starter shouldn't be watching from the sidelines and blah blah blah. Curtis Axel, obviously son of Mr. Perfect, very good talent in the ring, but maybe we haven't got the situation to see it. But I'm starting to wonder if, look, I don't think you have to live up. Unfortunately, fair or not fair, you have to live up to your dad, and especially if we're going to let everybody know that your name's Curtis Axel and your father's Larry and your dad's Kurt. I don't think he has a lick of the charisma that his dad had. And to be fair, most people didn't. But I think he could wrestle a perfect match all he wants, pun intended. I just don't think he has the mic skills to drive it home. That's just me looking the outside in, wondering. Here's a guy now. Curtis Axel, obviously he's been patient, he's been loyal. Here's a guy when The Rock was coming back to do matches with Cena. Curtis Axel was the guy who was training with The Rock in the ring and keeping The Rock fresh. And that says something. If you're good enough and you're safe enough to where they say, look, we're going to put you with a $20 million man. The leading man in Hollywood is coming back and doing us some favors, and we all trust you to take care of him. That's a great compliment, and that's a great thing. But I just wonder if you have what you need to have in order to drive it home and put butts in the seats. Being the son of Mr. Perfect is great, but if you're not going to be able to even dare to touch any bit of the charisma and entertainment that he had with his character, there's going to be a problem.